Welcome back. How did you do with the guiding principles? Hopefully really well. I want to make sure that you really feel good within yourself about how this process is going to unfold. Because you only get to buy your first property once, and we want to make sure that your first time is your absolute best time. So hopefully you'll check back in with those on a regular basis, especially as things arise that maybe make you feel a little bit uncomfortable throughout the process. One of the other things that I recommend that you do is pick 5 words that you want to have this property or this house, your first home, really feel like. Choosing 5 words will really just help you to really make sure that you're narrowed in on what it is you really want. So for example, a friend of mine, Michelle, she was looking for her first place. She wanted something that was very trendy, so she wanted to have something that had cool appliances. She wanted to have a little bit of a New York feel to it. She wanted a place that was also very cozy and homey. So for her, when she was looking, she ran into this really nice condo, but it was a bit of a retro look, and she was really excited to see it, but given the fact that she had really wanted something that was both trendy and cozy, it didn't fit the bill. Sometimes when you're out and you're shopping, you may find something that you really like, which is like a cool anomaly or something that's like super interesting and different. So when you're buying your first home, you're really looking for something that's gonna speak to you and your heart and your soul over a longer period of time. Because when you move into your first place, you're not gonna be shifting within a couple of months or maybe even a year. It's probably gonna be for the long term. So if you take the time to write out what are your 5 key words that you wanna have describe your place, it'll help to keep you on the straight and narrow as you're looking at places which are very cool, but maybe not exactly what you were looking for. What I want to talk about in this module is that buying a home is a serious commitment. And you may be thinking like, yeah, of course, Limor, I know it's a serious commitment, but I really want to say to you, no, listen in, this is a serious commitment, because when you are renting, you may just be able to get away with paying your rent a couple days late, and maybe your landlord doesn't really care, but when it comes to actually having a mortgage, it matters. You better pay your mortgage on time every single month, or you can start to incur some very expensive fees. And of course, if you don't pay your mortgage for a few months, you're gonna start to go into some foreclosure proceedings. Now, every province in Canada has different foreclosure proceedings, and that's definitely not something that I wanna focus on here, because you are financially fabulous. You're learning how to buy a property upfront and knowing all the ins and outs. So people like you and like me, we're taking our finances very seriously. So I don't expect that this will ever happen to you. But it's important to know that it's a serious commitment. I need to plan for it both financially and emotionally, but also knowing what are some of the other elements that are gonna come up throughout the process. So for example, there may be some elements that you're gonna wanna try to DIY. Let's just be honest, I hear it time and time again from people who are first-time home buyers who are like, well, maybe I can try to fix my credit myself. No, don't try to DIY your credit. There's gonna be some of you who are going to want to say, I don't really think I need a realtor, I can just DIY that part. Now, I will tell you that you can buy a property without a realtor, and we're gonna talk about that. But for the most part, I highly recommend that you do work with a realtor. Trying to save a few pennies here and there throughout the process is okay, and that's fine if you decide not to have, some extra fancy upgrades, or if you get 1 parking spot instead of 2, or if there's some options that you have. But if it comes down to part of the process, I want you to know, buying your first home, this is serious stuff. So if it's an element that you think you can DIY, I'm gonna say to you and highly recommend that you don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to register your property at the land registry. You need a lawyer to do that. And even though you may be super smart and super savvy and very resourceful, this is very serious. And when you're buying your first home, I wanna make sure that you're not making mistakes. So please do not try to DIY your way through buying your first home. And just by virtue of the fact that you're here, I think you're well on your way. So my challenge to you is to grab the downloadable worksheet, and I want you to write out what are the 5 words that you in fact want to have in this place. So it can be a feeling, it can be a style, but 5 things that are gonna govern your decision, so that when you're going out and you're buying a property, which you now know is a very serious commitment, You'll make sure that you purchase a property that in fact meets all of your needs, not something that you're just super excited about, like maybe a particular condo building has an awesome pool, but you don't even really like to swim and you think it'll be great for throwing a party. But in reality, maybe you'll throw one party over the next 5 years. So let's focus on the things that are gonna be most important to you. So write down your 5 words in the downloadable, and I'll see you in the next lesson.